The acting president of Venezuela, Donald Trump, is threatening Iran over the killing of protesters, all while the US government kills protesters. New year, new regime. Quick recap for anyone who is still disassociating at the start of the year. By the seventh day of the new year, the US military had removed a foreign leader by force. ICE killed a US citizen, and Congress did the absolute least to try and stop it. And the White House added a January 6th page that blames the riots on the police. I guess history really is written by the whiners. I mean, winners. Welcome to the second week of 1984. I'm Maya May, and every week I'm going to try to ground us in reality, even when it sucks. Right now, it kind of sucks. The second week of the year started with Jonathan Ross killing Renee Good, a mom of three, for exercising her constitutional right to film federal agents who were swarming her Minnesota community. Immediately after shooting her in the face, Ross called her a fucking bitch. Then the president, the vice president, DHS secretary, and other officials got to work on a narrative. They used phrases like domestic terrorist, paid agitator, weaponized vehicle, phrases that were then repeated by right wing outlets, all with one goal: to turn Renee Good and anyone who exercises their constitutional rights into a villain. The party that stood by while their president blanket pardoned January 6th rioters, many of whom went on to commit additional crimes, now wants us to believe that suburban moms organizing in signal chats to protect their neighbors from unlawful ICE raids are the domestic terrorists. People with eyes called this what it is: bullshit. And Americans everywhere took to the streets to protest. Minnesota and Illinois are suing the federal government to stop the surge in ICE activity. And in unrelated news, Mark Kelly is suing Pete Hegseth to stop him from being a dick. Meanwhile, in Iran, protests are escalating, with reports of more than 500 people being killed, with Iran's leadership claiming protesters are ruining their own streets in order to please the President of the United States. I wonder where he got that idea. Maybe it was Trump posing with Lindsey Graham's Make Iran Great Again hat. Trump voiced his support for the protesters, saying the U.S. would consider military action, and right now he's announced a 25% tariff on any country doing business with Iran. Now, Iran imposed a nationwide internet and communications blackout, but Trump doesn't have to take such extreme measures. He just injects chaos into the news cycle, and the ensuing confusion is the blackout. Trump wants control over the narrative because the truth is terrifying. U.S. federal debt has surpassed $38.5 trillion. Nearly 70% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. ACA subsidies remain expired. Even though House Democrats voted to restore them this week, it would still have to pass a Republican-controlled Senate. And Trump has already signaled that he'd veto it, because I guess screw your health care. And of course, the unredacted EPSTEIN files still haven't been released. Now, if you want to ground yourself in reality, don't look at what they say, look at what they do. Trump's priorities are clear. He met with oil executives and pitched them on a post-Maduro Venezuela. According to Trump, our giant oil companies will be spending at least $100 billion of their money, and they don't need government money, but they need government protection. So like our military? Can't oil companies afford their own protection? Why should the American people have to pay for that? And we might also go to war against Greenland if bribing its residents doesn't work. Where is all this money coming from? Who's going to pay for it? And this is where we come in. How do we fight this? We don't resist reality. We stay grounded in it. We make order out of chaos by stepping back, looking at the big picture. We have a constitution, and that should be our North Star. Speech retaliation? Unconstitutional. War without Congress? Unconstitutional. Killing civilians without an imminent threat? Unconstitutional. Using law enforcement to harass blue cities? Unconstitutional. Protesting is still our right, even though the Trump administration has labeled it domestic terrorism, which is really bold during the anniversary week in which Trump pardoned actual domestic terrorists. So if the first week of the year made you want to either the first week of the year either made you want to rewind to pre-Trump times or fast forward to when then I need you to join me every Monday, because I'm telling you, you may not feel like it, but America, you got this.